Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second Chinese University's Shakespeare Festival. We are your MC today. My name is Ella Leung from the English Language Teaching Unit. And the gentleman here beside me is Professor Jason Kleckman from the English Department. We are both from the Chinese University of Hong Kong. To begin with, let us first welcome the participants from the mainland, Macau, Taiwan, and Hong Kong. Over the next 2 days, 12 university teams will perform scenes from the plays of William Shakespeare. And also each day, 2 actors, Mr. Christopher Stollery and Mr. Ed Whiteman from the Bell Shakespeare Company of Australia will perform brief scenes from Shakespeare. At the end of the festival, on Wednesday, 2 days later, our esteemed festival judges will decide on awards for actors and performances. These awards will be based on the performances of all the 12 teams, so not just the 4 teams you're going to see today. The grand prize is an all-expense paid trip to London for the winning team, and there are also some fine prizes as well. So Jason, would you like to tell us more about the competition?
Yes, I would like to tell you more about the competition. I'm Professor Jason Gleckman from the English Department at Chinese University, and it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome the sea of white costumes to see the Shakespeare Festival today, and hopefully many of you will be here tomorrow and Wednesday as well for 3 exciting days of Shakespeare.
Right, I will be here, obviously.
There are many wonderful things about this festival. It gives students from the mainland and Macau and Taiwan a chance to get together, convene here, to meet each other, talk to each other, and to establish the sorts of good working relationships that our future leaders will need. In addition to that, there are the opportunities to practice wonderful elements of stage performance, like acting, of course, but also costuming and lighting and direction and use of English and even singing, although you may not see any singing as part of today's performances, but I'm sure there'll be some before the festival has ended. Now, in addition to all of those wonderful things, there is also, let us pause and take a breath, there is also Shakespeare. Shakespeare is a wonderful thing. Even better than Da Vinci is Shakespeare. And I won't say that I think about Shakespeare every day, but I think about Shakespeare many days. And sometimes when the clouds are out and life is bad, I'll try to think of a quotation from Shakespeare to cheer me up. I'm still working on that. Even better than Shakespeare, though, are the chances for more seriously, for the students who are doing these performances to build their contact with each other, and also to experience intercultural contact, which is a contact with Shakespeare, a writer who lived 400 years ago in a different society, but nonetheless, I think, hopefully we'll have something meaningful to say to you today as you see these performances. And what else was I going to say? And of course, yes, the students have an opportunity to demonstrate their creativity and imagination, which is something that, as you know, school life does not always give you quite enough opportunity to express. So, these are many of the wonderful aspects of the festival. Thank you so much for coming here to appreciate them. And Ella will introduce some of the important people without whom there would be no Shakespeare Festival for us.
This event, of course, will not be made possible without the generous support from our major sponsors. And let me introduce them to you. First is the Dr. Tian Changlin Technology Innovation Foundation. I believe the establishers of this foundation are with us here today, Mr. Richard Liu and Mr. Leslie Chung. Would you like to say hello to us? Wait, say hello. Yeah, thank you very much. Our fabulous prizes are donated by the Shenzhen Education and Charity Fund. Although Ms. Cheng Man Yi, the Vice President, cannot be with us in this festival, on behalf of the organizers, we'd also like to say thank you. Now, let me introduce you the festival organizers now. First, Professor David Parker, the chairperson of the Department of English of Chinese University of Hong Kong, who has... who has coordinated public relations and literary aspects of the festival, and Mr. Hardy Choi, the arts administrator of Chinese University of Hong Kong, who has presided over all the technical budgetary elements of the festival. Thank you. Now, Jason, would you like to introduce the judges?
Yes, let me introduce the wonderful judges to you, the esteemed and reputable judges who have come from a long way, several of them, to be here. First is Mr. Colin George. Mr. George has been an actor with the Royal Shakespeare Company, which is the most prestigious Shakespeare acting company in the UK, and that means really in the world. He's also been an artistic director of several major theater companies. He's directed and acted in all types of performance media, film, theater, television, and he has strong Hong Kong connections as well. He was the first director of acting at the Hong Kong Academy for the Performing Arts for many years, from 1985 when the APA began to 1993. And he has also been artistic director of the Chung Ying Theater Company in Hong Kong. So thank you, Mr. George, for being here with us. Second judge I would like to introduce is Professor Suzanne Wofford. Take a bow. Professor Wofford is professor of English at the University of Wisconsin in Madison in the United States, and she is a renowned Shakespeare scholar, and she has been president of the Shakespeare Association of America, and so we're very glad to welcome her here. And our final judge tonight is Professor Richard Ho. Professor Richard Ho is president of the CUHK Tonghua Group of Hospitals Community College. And if I could speak Chinese, I could say that more easily by saying that he is the president of Zhongdong. Yes, but I don't speak Chinese, so I can't do that. In addition to this, Professor Ho was for many years registrar at the Chinese University of Hong Kong here, and he is also an experienced Shakespearean actor and director. He's translated Hamlet into Cantonese and directed it and played the leading role in Hamlet. So thank you, Professor Ho, for being here as a judge.
Okay, now let me introduce a number of important people to you, and these people who are working to help the performance do the best job they can, and they are Mr. Joe Graves, professional actor, director, and scriptwriter. Mr. Graves has written film scripts and acted in some TV series, and is currently establishing the Institute of World Theatre and Film in Beijing, for which he is the artistic director. And representatives from Bell Shakespeare Company in Australia, Mr. Christopher Stollery and Mr. Ad Whiteman, who have worked with the actors and will be performing a scene from Shakespeare later today. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, it is my pleasure to give you a brief rundown of the rules regarding this competition part of the festival. You know, the competition is just part of it. The festival is the bigger part, celebrating and appreciating Shakespeare. But in addition, there's a competition. And the rules of the competition are as follows, so you can keep them in mind as you watch the performances. All the performers are undergraduate students, no postgraduate students. There are only 3 actors on each team. 3 is the most, so you'll see some doubling of roles. The students are not allowed to add any dialogue to Shakespeare, so they're not allowed to change the dialogue around to make it easier for us to understand. This is not a form of punishment, but a form of artistic celebration of Shakespeare, and so they have to stick to the original dialogue, although they can cut dialogue out, remove dialogue, and also move dialogue from one part of a scene to another and combine scenes, but they can't add dialogue. And so I think these are the basic rules of the performance. And the last thing that I have to do is just set the stage for the first performance that you will see. Shenzhen University presenting Hamlet.
Right.
Okay.
Let's give them a big welcome.